Folks, it is an election year and you know what that means. Welcome back to election year antics and probably ammo shortages, runs on firearms, accessories, all the usual chaos. Along with, if last time's any indication, riots, civil unrest, chaos, and stupidity. The anti-gun crowd may be failing in court right now. They are losing case after case after case. There has been precedent set by the Supreme Court that really gives power to the pro-gun side, the Second Amendment agenda, if you can really call trying to not lose more rights an agenda. I always have issues with that. It's not pro-gun, it's pro-Constitution, pro-Bill of Rights. Yeah. Anyway, that's a different topic that I don't get into on this channel particularly. So, they have been losing, but that doesn't mean they're not throwing a lot of stuff at the wall. And when they do that, it takes time for those things to get shot down. So every time they do it, it messes with the current status quo. It could be as simple as you live in a state that you can currently buy ammo, you just walk in, buy ammo, you don't need a permit, there's no paperwork, there's no limits. You could wake up tomorrow and they could have passed a new regulation that says you need a permit and there's a limited amount and you can only buy so much at a time and you can't buy it online. Yeah, look, governor executive orders can do all sorts of things until they get shut down in court, right? Doesn't mean it's legal. It just means that you're going to jail if you violate it. And sure, you'll win in court. That's not going to help you short term. So with all of this going on, all the shenanigans going on, and we know they're pulling it, ammo is, I don't want to say it's fragile. Supply is good right now, but it doesn't take a whole lot to create a problem. Think back a month ago, it was, oh my God, there's no ammo, there's no ammo, there's no ammo. Look, folks, it was just not on the shelf because it was at the distributors. People bought out what was on the shelf, screamed panic that there was nothing on the shelf. I hope you didn't hear that truck, but if so, whatever, we're moving on. Screamed panic that it was, the shelves were empty. And like 2 days later, the distributors, had shipped ammo and everybody was happy. But it created this ripple effect of people thinking there was no ammo, so they were going to buy more ammo. And we know how that goes. It happens every time. That's how you create an ammo shortage and an ammo panic. Don't fall into that trap. Start buying in reasonable amounts now. Don't stretch your budget just yet. Don't push it. But if buying, 500 rounds of ammo for the next 6 months, every month for 6 months is realistic for your budget, start now. I would start with the least common calibers you need. If you need some oddball caliber, 303 British, okay? It's not in mass production anymore. It's not the most common ammo anymore. It's not 308. It's not, even 7.62 by 54R. Like you're talking a caliber that, while once common, is a little more niche now. Buy that one first. You probably don't need a ton of it, right? You need a few hundred rounds maybe. I don't know what you're doing, but for these niche calibers, you rarely need a ton of it. But have enough for a couple years. Have enough for 3 years if you can. I would start with those and then work your way to your most common stuff, because when there is an ammo panic that actually is justified, for lack of a better term, that there is a shortage of ammo that the manufacturers can't quite keep up with, the most common stuff gets all the effort. They want to put out the ammo that the most people want. There's the most demand for. It eases their supply chain. It eases their production. It lets them make more ammo than if they spread it around. So these oddball calibers are not going to get the love they deserve. Instead, you're going to get more 5.56 and 308. It's that simple. You're going to get 6.5 Creedmoor, not 22 Creedmoor, not 6.5. Well, you might get 6.5 PRC now. But you see what I mean. Focus on your oddballs first so you've got those set for when they become non-available, just in case. My opinion and recommendation is the same with reloading supplies, Focus on powder and primers and any niche cases or bullets you might need. If there's something very specific, like you use, like say you use Lapua 223 match cases and you are almost out, you're low, you plan to restock this year, meaning 2024, not 2023, and you're planning to do it. Do that now. Do that first. The Bolt 223 cases, the 300 blackout cases you want, the 308, if they're not specific, if you can just say you get Winchester instead of Hornady, instead of Lapua match, like you don't care, it's not the end of the world. Do that one where it counts first. If you need eyeball caliber brass, do that now, right? Because that's not going to be available. When the brass manufacturers are scrambling to keep up with mass orders from the manufacturers for ammo, there's not going to be any niche stuff. Any less common calibers are going to go out the window. Any precision stuff is going out the window because that takes more effort to produce. Okay? Same thing with the bullets. Premium bullets from most of the companies will become less common. Mass production stuff will be more widespread. But even there, it might all be going to the ammunition manufacturing. You might not be able to get it on the shelf because all those 55 grain FMJs from Hornady that we're so used to using as bulk manufacturer ammo, bulk reloading. Yeah, you think Hornady doesn't use a lot of that? Yeah, they do. Now would be a good time to look at what powder and primers you use the most of. Order in bulk. Instead of buying 1 pound at the local store, find a dealer that has 8 pounds. Buy a couple of them. And while you're at it, buy 8 pounds of your preferred pistol powder and so on. Buy enough for a few years. It doesn't go bad. This stuff has shelf lives measured in decades, not individual years. If stored properly, we're talking multiple decades with no issues. Don't worry about it. Worst case scenario, sell it to a buddy. Like this isn't going to change. The prices are not going to go down. This is also the time to focus on more personal security stuff, your security in transit. What route do you take to and from work, right? Is there a neighborhood you could avoid if there's civil unrest? How would you do it? Do you already know that route? Do you know issues? Do you know choke points? If there's a riot a block away on your route, do you know which turn to make that not a problem, right? Which turn goes deeper into the problem area versus out? Which one's likely to be you're sitting in traffic stuck when that riot moves more toward you, right? Can you go the other way and still loop around, reasonably? Figure this out now. Don't figure this out on your phone while the riot is right there. It's not a good time. Things like, say you're married with children, okay? Not the TV show. If there's a riot in your hometown and it's close enough to your kid's school that your school is like, nope, we're out, done. Who's going to get the kids? Who's picking them up? Where are they going? Are they prepared for this, right? Have that figured out ahead of time before you need it. We're going to go turn off the air conditioning heat, actually, and get back to you. We're just going to keep going as an experiment. I turned it off. It'll shut off in a few minutes. I'm curious how much this mic picks that up. A few years ago, I would have said, this is a low priority thing, right? Well, I wouldn't have, but I wouldn't have said it on this channel in terms of I wouldn't have been talking about it because nobody would have believed me. It would have been like, what are you talking about? Really? This is the US. This isn't, Africa. Yeah. And we watched how quickly that went downhill, didn't we? We saw how quickly a city can dissolve into chaos. Don't wait to be prepared for it. Don't wait to have a plan for what you're going to do. Have it figured out ahead of time. This should be right up there with unexpected mother-in-law visits, power outages, flooding, whatever your most common 10 things are. Doing this kind of stuff now, useful. Call it a New Year's resolution. How about things around the house? Instead of putting money into random other things, instead of blowing money on a new rifle that it just adds to what you've already got, but there's no new capabilities that you really need, Maybe make sure the screws are the right length. You know, those long ones in your doors, your locks. Make sure you got a decent lock. Check the back gate. Is it actually latching properly? Can you put a padlock on it? Can somebody just reach over and pop it? Take a look at that kind of stuff. If you don't have a back gate, you can extrapolate, right? I mean, nobody watching this channel is that stupid, right? You can figure out where I'm going with this. If you're that stupid and you're watching this channel, I'm not sure I can help you. Yeah. Security cameras that you can access on your phone that don't need the internet. If you're on your local Wi-Fi, can you see what's on that camera? Because let's face it, a common home invasion scam is there's somebody at the door that looks official or looks real innocent. And when you open the door, yeah, the rest of the crew comes charging on in. Hey, being able to look down the side of your house and go, there's one innocent little schoolgirl here, and then there's 5 thugs along the side of the house. Let's not open the door, let's call the cops while we get our gun, right? Better to be prepared and find out you didn't need to be than not be prepared and find out you should have been. Most of this stuff, it's not expensive. Most of it is time. It takes a little time. The stuff that is expensive isn't the stuff that goes bad. You can buy it, and if you don't need it this year, you'll need it next year. If you don't need it next year, you'll use it the next year. 5 years from now, it'll still be good. We might be talking about the same thing in 5 years, and I'll be telling you, hey, buy that reloading supplies, and you'll be going, ha, shut up, Remy, I already got it. Great, awesome. That is the best way to prove me wrong, is to go, I'm good, I already got that. So, hopefully you had a good Christmas. Happy holidays, whatever you are celebrating. Hopefully whatever you celebrated in the last couple of days was great, and we roll on into the new year with a bang. Not too much of a bang. And hopefully this coming year is not quite as crazy as I suspect it's going to be. Anyway, take care, have fun, stay safe everybody, and keep shooting.